Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is your host, Tooclevermafia. You are listening to the Tooclevermafia podcast. Hello, AJ, over in the sound booth. How are you today? Thank you for another lovely montage of music introducing our wonderful podcast. Hello, Mafians. Hello, new listeners. How is everyone doing today? And of course, we hope everyone is doing fine. And so today's show, it's not going to be about the election, AJ. We're not going to go that route today. But today's show, we're going to be talking about a subtopic in the news. Um, Basically, something that caught my eye, and it's about Walmart. Yeah. Remember Walmart, founded by old Sam Walton back in 1962? Yeah, 1962 Walmart. I mean, it was incorporated in the late 60s, probably, I think it was 69. But yeah, and then eventually um, came into the superstores that he has now. You know what we all know of Walmart is today in the United States, and Sam's Club warehouses as well. But currently, Walmart has a little over. I say a little over, probably about I think 11,000, 11,000, just about 11,500 stores, give or take a few, in over 27 countries. Wow, Walmart. It's and how can it? My question, I guess, with Walmart is how can it not be so great? I mean, it's so big, and you kind of if you took a deep dive into what Walmart was and who, going back to when Sam started it and what his idea of what he wanted it to be, and compared to what it's become, has been crazy. I mean, it's been crazy. So we want to kind of take a little bit of a deep dive. And, you know, did you know, AJ, that Walmart operates under 56 different names? 56. Not so if you're talking to somebody in another country and you say Walmart, they might not necessarily know that the Walmart is, in the US, in the United States, and in Canada, it's Walmart. But down in Mexico, it's Walmart de Mexico, Centro America. I butchered it there. I butchered my Spanish there, but that's what it's known as. And over in the United Kingdom, if you're listening to us over there, it's Asda in the United Kingdom, and Japan. It's Seiyu Group in Japan, and over in India, it's called Flipkart Wholesale. And if you break down Walmart by revenue, right? They are the largest company in the world. I think it's over 500 billion with a B, folks, $500 billion. I think they're number one on the list. Behind them is a company, probably not in the United States. They're too familiar with, but China Petroleum. Amazon is on the list. I think they're third. Another gasoline company in PetroChina is fourth. Apple on the list, only at number 5, but this is revenue. This is revenue as well. And behind them, CVS Health, which is a combination of CVS Health and I think, do they own Aetna now? I believe possibly. But then number 7, you have the Royal Dutch Shell, and number 8 is Berkshire Hathaway. So yeah, so that's the round out of Walmart, and they're just tremendously. I mean, they're it's crazy how big they are, and what if you look at the the where they came from, they came from Bentonville, Arkansas. Like I said, they were founded by Mr. Walton, Mr. Sam Walton. But what I really wanted to look at, and this is a story that I found in the news recently that kind of brought this whole thing to light. And if you go back, when Walmart started back in 1970, let's say we'll go 70 because 69 I think they incorporated, but we'll say 70. They had about 1,000 employees, and then each year they added, an extra, like 71 they added 500 employees. Then 72, they added another 800 employees. They just kept adding employees. And if you skip forward to when they broke the 100,000 employee mark, which is, I think 86, then 87 another 40,000, 88 another 40,000, 89 another 4. Like these are employees. So by 1990 they had 275,000 employees, which is amazing for a company to be able to just employ so many people, and they have their own fleet of trucks, right? So they, think of the millions and millions of miles they're putting on all their trucks every single year. But when you get to 94, they hit that 500,000 mark, which put them at 528,000 employees. But this is where you really saw the numbers and what was in the news about, because what was the story, what, just to give you the gist of it, was they're declining in growth. And for the first time in a long time, they are reducing their employee structure. Now, does that have anything to do with minimum wage, with that kind of stuff, with benefits and things? Because, they're providing those things to employees, but then they're kind of doing the McDonald's thing where they're going to the self-serve options more. You can have, 20 registers manned by, or womaned, I guess, by one person. And then you have, you don't need all those extra cashiers. A lot of their stocks come in. If you haven't been into Walmart recently, it's presented easier. So instead of them having to stock one item, one, two items, they'll have cases that they just open up and place on the shelves. Makes it a little easier to stock the shelves and I guess quicker, so you won't need it. But I guess we'll go to you jump forward to like 2003. Every year they just added, they reported they had 2000, and I think they just kind of did this to make it easier, and they rounded the numbers up. But they reported starting in 2003, 1.4 million employees worldwide. Then in 2004, 1.5, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 2.1. 2009, they didn't have any growth, supposedly, or 2010, or 2011. They all 2.1. 2013, they reported 2.2. I'm sorry, 2012, they reported 2.2. Then they had, but when you get to, it goes up to 2018. Then when you get to 2019, they lost 100,000 employees. Okay. That was their last report. 2020, I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be reduced as well. So the big question in the news article I read was they were going on and on about how this is the end of Walmart, how Walmart wasn't able to transition to compete with Amazon. And they ended up, they are losing that battle, according to this news article, and are looking for other ways to make money. I believe they had a hand in the buying of the app called TikTok. You ever use TikTok, AJ? No. Yeah, they had the hand. They were looking to buy that. That was a big thing about TikTok, and the Trump administration did not want TikTok to be used in America because they were very, very concerned about the security and the privacy issues that they came up, and there are, this is as early as, I think this was in September, there were investigations that found this TikTok app privacy policy and data collection practices aren't actually any worse than other social media apps. But the concerns were that the Chinese were spying on, I guess, the users of TikTok. And from what I read, it appears to be a little bit overblown. But again, what do I know? But they ended up going back and forth, and Walmart was in the bidding because I think they said if, and I could be wrong, but from what I read, and there's a lot of information that goes in a lot of different directions, but from what I read, that it had to be owned primarily by a U.S. company. I don't know, it was 50%, 51% or whatnot, and Microsoft threw their hat in the ring. And then that's soon after that, Walmart said they were going to team up with Microsoft to buy TikTok. And then the company called Oracle got involved. So as of right now, I don't, I think it's part owned by Oracle and part owned by Walmart. Like, I don't know, 10% of each or something like that. I don't really know the breakdown, but so uh, Walmart agreed. I think that Walmart agreed to I'm reading here, 7.5% stake in the newly created company that will be based in the U.S., called TikTok Global something or other. And TikTok's cloud provider is a minority investor with a 12.5% stake. So Walmart looking to kind of spread its wings. I guess they can use that for advertising Walmart if they wanted to, right, AJ? I think they could probably use that as a good platform to advertise sales. But we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to come back with, some of the ins and out of Walmart, like they're what we see as far as, why they were so good and popular, and why they kind of fit, they fit the world for a long period of time, and just kept growing and growing. But there's a little bit of a decline of late, and we're going to talk about some of the things that we see, and give our a little bit of an analysis, I guess you could say, right, AJ? Yeah. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I am your host, Tooclevermafia, and you are listening to the Tooclevermafia podcast. And I'd like to say hi to my producer and sound booth junkie over in the sound booth, I guess. Hello, AJ. Hello, Mafians, for listening. Hello, new listeners. How are you today? And hope everybody is doing well. And we are back with our Walmart How Could It Not Be Great episode, right, AJ? Well, we finished up the first segment here, and we gave a little bit of a history, and it is what it is. If you like history, you probably enjoyed it. If you didn't, you probably found it kind of dry, but hey, it's the Too Clever Mafia podcast. We are, sometimes we're a little bit dry. Sometimes we're a little wet. Sometimes we're kind of right in the middle. We'll see how it works out. But anyway, so I would imagine everybody out there has been to Walmart. AJ? Yeah, of course. Everybody has been to a Walmart, maybe not in this country. Who knows? Maybe like we talked about in the previous segment, but we're not going to get into that. And what's good about Walmart, right? The news article I read basically was implying that Walmart is on their way down, and basing that upon the fact of their decrease in employees. So, and the company itself is reducing its staff, and usually that's not a good sign. But one of the things about Walmart, and one of the things, I'm sure everybody has shopped there, right? If you're listening to this podcast, there's a good chance you shop there. And, first of all, a question came up a little bit ago when we were kind of throwing show ideas out there and on Twitter, we had gotten some feedback. And so one of the questions that came up was, how does people get something sold in Walmart? How is it even possible? Well, there is a rigorous process, and you have to present your product. You've got to be able to produce it. You've got to be able to manufacture a certain amount of units on demand. And Walmart will give you a certain X amount of shelf space for whatever your product is. And then you go from there, right? But if your product doesn't sell, Walmart will take it off the shelf. It won't be there anymore, And then they have some of their own brands that definitely have more preference. I think the Pioneer Woman sells her, hawks her junk there, I guess her pots and pans and spatulas and all that fun stuff. But they have their own clothing lines and special exclusive deals over there as well. But, it's not easy to get something in Walmart. And they're not, I got to tell you, I don't think I've ever walked into a Walmart. I don't know if anybody has and said, hey, this is the fanciest store out there, right? You go into a Walmart, you get that kind of, I don't want to say dirty feeling, but at least the ones on the East. I mean, I've been all across the country, and I've pretty much been in all Walmarts in quite a few different states. And some of them were a little bit cleaner, a little bit newer, obviously, depending on when they were built and all of that. But just the feel of everything being perfect on the shelves and organized and neat. You don't get that. I don't get that on the East Coast. I don't. And I got to tell you, I stopped. I was at a Walmart in Oklahoma, and it felt like I was walking into a castle of a Saudi prince. It was everything was neat and clean and bright and shiny. Every employee was perfectly dressed, had their uniforms, name tags and their aprons and you know neat. Everything was unbelievable. It was probably the best Walmart I've ever been in, and I've been in quite a few. There was also there was one I got a flat tire once in outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico. No, true story. And we had to get a tire, and me and the missus, and we, what was I doing in Albuquerque? Well, we were just doing our normal, vacationing across the country, driving, all that fun stuff, checking out the sights, right? But anyway, so I had to get a tire, and we get this flat tire on the interstate, and very, very nice people, by the way, in New Mexico. I got to tell you, we pulled over, and 3 or 4 people asked me to, help change the tire. I don't know if I looked that handicapped or not, but I was able to do it. I was able to. We had a van, and I had to crank the tire down. It was underneath the center of the van, and jack it up, and for some reason I decided to jack up the van on a slope. Not a good idea, but I was able to do it. I was able to put the donut on, and then it was getting in later in the evening, so we stayed at this hotel and off the interstate, and in Albuquerque, and we were, we went to the Walmart, and we have the tire, we'll have it for you, and then we had it changed, but that was a typical one. If I had to grade it as a top quality Walmart, I put maybe a 7. I got pointers because I got us out of a little bit of a jam. I give it a little bit of an extra points on the Too Clever Mafia point system. But Oklahoma, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. And, the ones here on the East Coast, the few I've been to in New Jersey, I think I've been to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 or 4. They're not that great. Maybe ranging in from 5 to 6s. But, they're not clean. The employees are not uniform. You kind of know where things are. If you're used to shopping in a Walmart, that's the convenience of it and everything. You know where everything is if you're looking for something. And the great thing about Walmart, when we go, me and the missus, we've been to quite a few Walmarts in Florida. We head down to Florida every once in a while, and I gotta tell you, when we're in Florida, I think Virginia as well, a couple of times, but they're not the fanciest stores, right? But they're so big, and their prices can, for the most part, beat everyone. But I don't go there necessarily for the cheapest price, but you go there because you know what you're gonna get. So if I'm on vacation, and we usually rent a place, and we'll have a kitchen and all of that, and it's cheaper to cook our own food. Mrs. Mafia does all the cooking, and we cook our own food. But we'll go to a Walmart. We'll go, what do they call them? Walmart superstores, and we get our food and then we'll cook it, and it's the same stuff. It's not they're not necessarily off branded. Sometimes they have things that I've never seen before, but it keeps it interesting. But they have everything there you need. And, but there's a little bit of, not too much though. I wouldn't say there's too much of a lack of consistency in the different stores that we've been to. I'm trying to think if I was ever in a Walmart in California. No, I don't think I've ever stopped at a Walmart when I was in California. No, I don't think so. I've been to one in, like I said, New Mexico. I believe Texas, which was again, 6 and 7. Oklahoma, the best. You know what else I stopped at? Not to get off topic because this is a Walmart episode, but I stopped at a Sonic drive-through. They have the slushies and the ice cream and all of that. I stopped at one of those in Oklahoma. I gotta say, Oklahoma. Now that I'm thinking about it and I'm talking about it out loud, Oklahoma had a lot of nice things, but I don't like the tornadoes in Oklahoma. I don't like, I could never get Mrs. Mafia to move there But I definitely liked the feel in Oklahoma. It was a nice, very flat state, very flat state. Yeah, yeah, and definitely. Texas. I traveled through northern Texas. There's a little city we stopped in a couple of times actually called Shamrock, Texas, and not a very nice town, very nice place that we stayed at, and they but Texas gives you that Chainsaw Massacre vibe. Sometimes the northern part of it, like you're driving down the interstate, and all I see is old factories and cows out in the fields, and then the factories are more than likely slaughterhouses. But give me we stopped to get gas in Texas, and it was one of those things where we were kind of really, I wanted Mrs. Murphy to kind of expedite the process of using the facilities and getting what she needed into the store because, I didn't want to end up in one of those missing person newspapers or flyers that were on the wall. Yeah, I don't, maybe it's bad. It was northern Texas. I'm pretty sure. What I did like about Texas is though, when you're driving through Texas, especially the northern part, it just you're on a straight road for as long as the eye can see, and you're just going straight. I mean, and you could see 20, I don't know, maybe 20 miles. I don't know what it is, but you could just see straight. And it's really easy probably to fall asleep on those type of roads, but you put your cruise control on and, I'm not going to say I wasn't doing the speed limit, but you just look down and then you realize you're keeping with the flow of traffic on some of those interstates, and you're really flying. You're really flying. So, but yeah, that's basically my Walmart experience. But I enjoyed it. We enjoyed on vacation when we go to different places. There's always a Walmart. For the most part, you know what you need. If you need, you can't pack everything all the time. And if you need something, Pennsylvania too. I don't leave that out. I've been to a couple of Walmarts in Pennsylvania. Very nice as well. Still in that, maybe more 6 or 7 in Pennsylvania. I don't know. I put them they were a little bit nicer from what I remember. I remember one had a McDonald's inside the actual Walmart. I don't know if it's still there or not. I mean, this has got to be a long time ago. But, yeah, so if you're looking for something, you're definitely going to be able to find it at Walmart, which makes it so, the standardization, which is, I guess, keeps them really, really doing well. And I guess they're just like everybody else in this whole COVID sector, people, they still need to get their food. They still need to get what they need to get. And Walmart, trying to find ways to cut costs, has reduced its employees. Did they buy? Yeah, they own the Sam's Club as well, right? The Sam's Club or it's like a big box host, like who's it? Like Costco, or there's another one, BJ's Wholesale Club. Yeah, I've been to them before. I know a lot of people enjoy going to them, and then you get your stuff that you need in bulk there. You need 85 pounds of butter. You can definitely buy it there for probably 4 cents. I don't know. I'm just saying. I would check it out before you take my word for it and go there for the butter. But that's what it is. So don't forget to check us out on all our social medias. Visit us on @Tooclevermafia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Where else are we, AJ? YouTube. Sorry. And check out our website, www.tooclevermafia.com. And all I ask, like I have said multiple times, when you're listening to the Too Clever Mafia podcast, please head over to, whether you're on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, wherever, Breaker, Radio Public, just hit that like button. Just subscribe to our podcast so you can get the latest and greatest episodes and be in the know. Right, AJ? So they can be in the know. So we'll be right back with my final words of the day, folks. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am your host, Too Clever Mafia, and you're listening again to the Too Clever Mafia podcast. With me is AJ over in the sound booth. Hello, AJ. Hello, Mafians, and hello, new listeners. This is my final words segment, which we do quite often on the show here, and we're going to wrap up today's Walmart episode with my final words, if you will, on Walmart. Now, Walmart, great retailer, very, very successful retailer, in multinational retail corporation. And some people don't like the idea that Walmart kind of puts the little mom and pop shops out of business. Well, and, but Walmart does have everything you need. And, you know, in a time where we need extra money and we need extra resources, and Walmart provides them to us kind of in a one-stop shop, there's nothing wrong with a Walmart. And the mom and pop stores and the small ones may not be as happy to hear that, but it's free enterprise. It's how that's capitalism, folks. You go out there and you run a business, and then there's that line that comes to, boy, well, are you too big? Are you too big? Are you taking over too much? And if you were to disappear tomorrow, what would happen? And, I don't know if, Walmart supplies food and wares and beverages and everything for a lot of towns across this country, a lot of cities across this country who don't have access, or a mom and pop store might not be a viable option because, there's not enough people to have a business. And, so do you regulate that? Do you not? Do you keep going? But Walmart is here to stay. They're going to adapt if they can get their online site working good. AJ, I got to tell you, I've had they also kind of have a little bit of thing, kind of Amazonian thing going on there, where you buy something on Walmart and you're not really buying from Walmart. But I've had an experience already, and not a good one, where I bought from Walmart and there was a issue with the product and I had to return it. And you have to go kind of through. It's a not like Amazon. Amazon has a much easier return process. So, and they kind of take accountability for it. And when you buy it, you know what you're buying. So Walmart's got to clear that up and make sure everybody knows what they're doing. And, maybe jazz up their website a little bit. What do you think, AJ? What do you think? Is that fair to say? Yeah, Amazon's got a nice site. I love the Amazon website and the way things are laid out. I love the reviews that are there. And, and Walmart is maybe lacking a little bit behind in that area. And if they can just manage, they sell so many products themselves. I bought things from Walmart and had it shipped to the store and then picked it up there. And the process is pretty easy. But big things I've bought, heavy things, safes, things like that. And they've been delivered, and they definitely have their deals. The price is definitely right at Walmart. But the future will tell. Walmart, all of these companies, Walmart, Target, Amazon, which is already, I think they're trying to get into the retail space, actually. What's that one? Is it Whole Foods? I think they're involved with. Yeah. But the other ones, they're trying to get, how can we translate, our huge stores, but also get that online marketplace, which is growing every year. Right. And the holidays are coming. They're not too far away from the holidays, and you have those holiday sales, and they always report how they do at the end of the year. I think Target's doing very well. I know Amazon's doing well, and Walmart. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting migration to see how they're going to, because you do these online sales, you don't necessarily need these huge stores, right? If their stores have all this real estate and all this property that has to be maintained and paid for, and then you have to, you got a I don't know, 100,000 square foot store. I don't know how big they are, but they're huge. You think they're bigger than 100,000 square feet? Yeah. Okay. Well, you got to maintain that. We got to pay the electric bill, right? All the utilities, and you have to have employees to stock shelves, to clean, to help customers that are wandering around aimlessly, like me and Mrs. Mafia from time to time in these huge stores. And, I sometimes I look around, I'm in these huge stores, I'm looking for a tram to come pick me up, it's getting to a point where these stories, and then when you realize, oh man, I forgot. Yeah, we were on vacation a while back in Virginia. We went we took our RV down there, right, and we ended up going to a Walmart at one point, and when you first walk in the Walmart, this particular location, they all might be similar. I don't know. I've never really done that type of survey, but you walk in and then they have like a pharmaceutical section, and I needed eye drops. I get the dry eye, so I get the eye drops, but I forgot them. So we go all the way around this huge store, and we're kind of completely opposite of when you first walk in the pharmaceutical section. They have your Band-Aids and all that stuff. And then I realized, oh no, I forgot my eye drops. And I was debating on even going back to get them. And one of the main reasons why I went to the store was to get them. So it was like I had to go on a walkabout, a journey. So I Miss Mafia said, okay, you do what you're doing over here, and I'll catch up with you around the front, and I'll trek back. So like, I don't know, it felt like 3.5 hours later, I ended up in the pharmaceutical section to get the eye drops. And wouldn't you know, and I remember this, this was over the summer, but wouldn't you know, I get there, and the eye drops, the one I do normally buy wasn't there. Yeah, they had a spot for it, and it wasn't there. And there was a young lady stocking the shelves, and I said, do you have any more of these in the back? And of course they say no. What's on the shelf, and that's what we have. And looked at me like I was stupid. And I said, okay, well, and I tried a different brand. I grabbed another one that was there, and then I trekked all the way, which felt like another 2.5 hours, to the registers to find Mrs. Mafia. And oh my, that wouldn't be a bad idea, AJ. Around the outskirts of the thing, have some sort of train or trolley type of thing. It sounds silly, but have a little train or trolley that stops every so often, kind of like when you're at Disneyland or Disney World, and they have the little trolley from the parking lot to the actual the theme park, right? Wouldn't that be a great idea? Yeah, that'd be great. And they could just drive around, automatic. Watch out for the tram car, please. Watch out for the tram car as it goes around the store, and then you could just hop on and off. Well, I mean, I would have to stop because I don't think I can do a running start and hop in. But yeah, but yeah, I mean that'd be a great idea for especially these big, tremendous like Target or Target and Walmart. They're just tremendous. They're huge stores, and all those Costco's and BJ wholesale clubs and all of that, and Sam's Club. But yeah, that would be. I'm liking this idea. I think I could start a little side hustle here, AJ. What do you think? Yeah, I think I definitely could. Yeah, as the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, hey. And then you can have, well, what would happen to my shopping cart? Well, yeah, I guess that would be a problem, right? If you had a shopping cart, maybe you can hitch it to this or click it to the side somehow of this little trolley that goes around the store, and then maybe you can, it stops and you snap it to the side, and then it just kind of pulls along with you. Yeah, wow, that's a pretty good invention. Well, if anybody would like to go into business with me, let me know. Because what? Oh no, AJ's saying the little carts that you can drive around on your own, but those things are dangerous. Yeah, I was in years ago, and back in my day, I always have a story, right, AJ, right? But back in my day, we went to one of the Disney parks. I want to say, oh boy, I'll just say Disney. What's the one in Florida? Disneyland, Disney World, Disney World. Okay, so we go to Disney World, and you can rent these little scooters or jazzies or whatever you call them, and you can drive around. But there was a it was like race. It was like a Indianapolis 500. The people were flying by, and the theme park was crowded, and it was like these jazzy cars that had the right of way, right? Because I mean, you get run over, you were finished. You were finished, but they were all over the place flying, and they have the little knobs on it that go from was it a turtle to rabbit, and I'm pretty. They should put a governor on those things to stop it from going to rabbit, because everybody was just driving around at full speed, crashing into people, running people over. It was a horrible, horrible sight. And and if you have a Jazzy, you get to the front of the line, and you be on all of these rides, right? So why not rent one? You get right to the front of the line. Why wouldn't you do that, right? Why, and the lines are very long. But anyway, we're getting way off topic. But Walmart, on my Too Clever Mafia review scale, I'm going to give them a good, let's go with, I'm going to say 7. We're going to go with 7. I think they could improve their online and maybe make their stores a little bit more modern, right? Wouldn't it be nice to have, they have those roll back your prices at Walmart, those little flip signs that are like paper or whatever that sit over when you're walking down the aisle, and they sit over the little pallets of whatever specialties they're trying to sell you. What about making those digital with like flashing lights or something, right? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? Like a little bit more ambiance in the store is all I'm asking. Is that too much to ask, AJ? He said, AJ says I shouldn't shop at Walmart if I'm looking for ambiance. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, I will let everyone go. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast, please. That's all I ask. Check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those. And we will be back again next week with another wonderful episode. I don't know what we're going to do yet. We're coming up to the end of the season, folks. Yeah, I think we're going to have a season finale, probably episode 30. Probably we're going to shoot for 30, right, AJ? Unless we get a couple of bonus episodes, we'll see. But yeah, we're going to wrap up our first season of the Too Clever Mafia podcast. So the excitement is brewing. The finale is going to be great. It's going to be wonderful, awesome. It's going to be fantastic. So we will be back next week, folks. From all of us here at the Too Clever Mafia podcast, I am your host, Too Clever Mafia. AJ's over in the sound booth. Mafians, that is all I have to say about that. Take care for now. Bye-bye.